What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Arsenal Tailgate. Grab a beer, grab a hot dog or a cheeseburger. Let's have some fun before kickoff here over in Greece against Olympiakos. Joining me, welcome back to the show from the Ars Bros is Ryan. How are you, man?
What's going on? I'm excited about today. I'm excited because over the weekend I'm not going to be excited. So let's get all the excitement out now and just blow
one thing at a time, Cowboy. One thing at a time. Below me is the man that's joined me for all of these so far and will continue to be joining me for every single tailgate and aftermath is Glenn from New York. Glenn, thanks for being here as always. How are you?
Absolutely my pleasure. I'm in the last stage of grief for the Burnley game, so I'm ready for today.
And last but certainly not least, joining us for the first time from the Blast from the Arsenal podcast is Angelo. Angelo, thanks for being here, man. Thanks for taking the time. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you for having me. I'm feeling cautiously optimistic about tonight's game. So
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it. Cautiously optimistic is a phrase I use quite often as it refers to Arsenal. So, but thanks for being here, man.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Real quick, go ahead and shout out the podcast so people know where they can find you and drop a subscription for you.
Yeah, thank you. So I always say on our shows the hub of our activity is Twitter and Instagram, our social media accounts. So give us a follow on @BlastArsenalPod, and we're on YouTube as well. Just started doing the live shows. So just look for Blast for the Arsenal on there and give us a little like, and hopefully we can do more of these cross podcasts.
Oh, absolutely. Be looking forward to it. So obviously kind of a big one today to try to keep European qualification hopes alive for next season. We're in Greece.
Out.
What's that?
The lineup is out.
Is it out? All right, perfect. So you know what? Let's play the opener. I'll find the lineup and we'll get right into it. So So I've got the that's not good.
But before you reveal the lineup, didn't Arteta say that it is essential that we are in Europe next season, considering the finances? So I would assume that you're about to show me the strongest possible 11.
It's funny because some people this actually could be the strongest 11, but I could not disagree more.
I would not categorize this as the strongest 11. That's just me.
Hey, look, to add some optimism, it could be worse.
It could be worse. It could be worse. So let me bring this up here real quick. Put it up on the screen, and everybody can take a look, and you can make up your own mind. So there it is. Obviously, this is
it's
formation-wise, not quite accurate. I don't think Martin Odegaard is playing on the left.
Oh, they switched colors.
Oh wow! Yeah, yeah, it really did.
You're editing the lineup as we talk about it.
Yep. So, Hector Bellerin. I guess let's start from the back. No surprises with.
That's why I screamed, by the way.
Okay, no surprises with Bernd Leno in goal. We knew that was coming. Gabriel David Luiz. Interesting here that Gabriel gets a start over Pablo Mari. Angelo, I'm going to start with you. Are you surprised that Gabriel's getting a start here?
I was surprised he didn't start against Burnley, if I'm honest, just because they're quite a physical team. And I think of the two, Gabriel is the more aggressive defender. Mari is probably the more considered and maybe a bit more cautious in his approach. So I really thought Gabriel would start at the weekend. The fact that he didn't probably doesn't surprise me so much that he's therefore started tonight. And, for the first part of the season, I've been really impressed with him. He's probably had a slow start coming back, hasn't he? Since he was out for COVID, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So he's had a bit of a rocky start coming back, but I still think he's one of our better defenders. So I'm not surprised and I'm not concerned by it, put it that way.
This thing keeps moving. I don't know why it keeps moving on me.
It's probably, it's
The way you guys were talking, I was ready to spark up live on the air. I was getting so upset, but that's
okay.
That's not bad.
So let me put my scream into perspective a little bit. So Olympiakos is known as a team that likes to attack a side. They overload a side, and they love exposing fullbacks. They love getting one-on-one with fullbacks. What is Hector Bellerin so good at? His one-on-one defending, as we all know. That's why I was like, it makes absolutely zero sense. Zero. How do you spell zero? Z-E, like carry the 4. 0 sense why Bellerin should be playing right now. Absolutely none. Cedric was rested. He didn't even make the bench against Burnley, and we were told it was just because he was being rested. He was not injured. Nothing was wrong with him. Oh, okay, good. He's starting, starting on Thursday. That's fine. I'll allow it. But no, you play our worst defender, I guess, out of our defenders, I guess you could say, against a team that loves exposing fullbacks, loves overloading sides, they love spreading the field, and they like playing really wide. Bellerin's going to get crapped on. Like it's I guess be like the devil's advocate or to be positive Paulie over here. This team should beat Olympiakos, but I know I say that like every game. I feel like that 11 is good. It's not a terrible 11. I think that there's just certain pieces of this 11 that just don't make sense. Bellerin playing does not make sense. And to be fair too, I will say I will beat this drum until it beats no more, and I'll probably still try to beat it. Chambers was phenomenal for us against Burnley. He was my man of the match. I would have liked to see him play. I would, but I think the Chambers not being on the bench against Burnley. I think Arteta even came out and said he's fine, just resting him. I mean, give him a start here. But yeah, I'm upset. And then to be fair too, to the Gabriel point, we need the physicality. They love crossing the ball in. They like headers. Their leading goal scorer, El Arabi, he's really good in the air. Gabriel needs to stick on him. That's why I also would have liked to have seen Holding play alongside Gabriel when I initially gave my 11, but whatever. And then I probably would have played Mari because to be fair, I think Mari's kind of overtaking Holding as our most consistent best defender this season. But whatever. I think Luis is going to play every game for us. I think just Arteta loves the Luis Xhaka gruesome twosome, as I like to call it.
Damn, Ryan. That was like when I asked my wife how her day was at work. Okay. So real quick. Okay. I agree with you. I'd rather have seen Cedric out there. Okay. But perhaps just giving the other side, maybe Bellerin will have something to prove after Chambers started over a healthy Bellerin last game. I agree with Gabriel. And I actually agree with Xhaka because they are a physical team, as Ryan said, and they like to be on the front foot. I think the big key to today is Ruben Semedo. He's out. And he's their best defender, and of course, no crazy Greek crowd. So
yeah,
that's how I look at it.
Yeah, Semedo was their besides their goalie. Who is it their goalie? Yeah. Besides their goalie, who's starting for them now, Sa. I'm going to say, Semedo was their most played player. He played the most minutes for Olympiakos this entire season. So it's going to be interesting to see how they adapt without that. And like, come on. We can't lose to Socrates, right? Like we really? Like this guy was first on the team sheet for the U23s for us this season, and you're telling me that they have a chance at kicking us out of Europa? Like, come on, we need to exercise these demons.
Hey, look, they did it. They did it last year.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
They did it last year, and El Arabi's got something. I think I saw earlier: 38 league goals in 56 games for Olympiakos. So
yeah, he's crazy.
He's no mug, that's a good record, and you say he's a physical player. So I guess having Gabriel and Luis at the back will make sense. I like Holding at the back as well. For actually quite a slight guy, he's very physical. He likes to get into the challenge. But they've scored 61 goals this season and only conceded 12 in 25 games. I know the Greek Super League is not on par with the Premier League. But they're going to be coming into the game full of confidence. They won at the weekend 3-0. They're storming their league. So they're on a high. And I think we're on maybe we're in a bitter land still from Vargate at the weekend. So we need to win this game in our heads as much as we do on the pitch.
That absolutely, Angela. Win this game in your head before you go out and try to win this game on the pitch. To be honest, so that's fantastic. I see in the comments here. I don't think Saka's on the left. Willian is on the right. I think move Odegaard back to where Partey is here. Put Saka over where Odegaard is. Put Willian where Saka is, and I think you have that's your formation to a degree. So this is the starting 11, but not necessarily in the right positions. So, Angelo, anything else jump out at you with this lineup?
Yeah, so I was going to say the other one really, he's a bit Marmite, but I think more people are starting to love him than hate him of late, and that's Pepe. He had a real influence over the last few games. He obviously came on at the weekend. He made things happen. Whether they're thinking, whether Arteta's thinking that later in the game, can he come on fresh legs and influence the game against a tired team? I don't know. They're an interesting team, Olympiakos, because they have a blend of youth and experience. And I know that's such a straight out of the packet thing to say, but they've got some household names that you will have heard of. Obviously, Socrates we know about, Jan and Villa, French player that we were linked with every single day since he's been born. Mathieu Valbuena, who was at Marseille. He's 36 years old, but you can still put a good through ball through. So. And then a lot of youngsters as well. So that's why I said before, we have to be cautiously optimistic. We've definitely got the better team on paper, but a team that scores 61 goals still has to create 61 goals. So yeah. So Pepe was the other one for me, as I say. But I wonder whether there's a bit of tactical nous in there in terms of bringing him on later in the game.
That would be my only minor complaint is Willian. I'd rather have seen Pepe in there, but it's a minor complaint with 5 substitutions.
Yeah, I think Arteta's trying to get that balance going that we all talk about. I think Pepe kind of disrupts the balance. I think playing Pepe and Aubameyang, I think, is something we'll see if we're desperate. But I don't know. And it's funny, we talked about how we think Saka's going on the right and Willian's on the left. And I've always said this about Willian. Willian always, for Chelsea, always play on the right. I don't know why we have to play him on the left, play him as a 10 for a game or two. I just don't get it. I mean, who knows? Maybe we really are persisting with Saka on the right, and that's going to be our answer. And I know people are saying that he's better on the right, Saka, and he's done really well for us on the right. I'm not saying he doesn't. But to start Willian, who – yeah, I guess for a few games he hasn't been terrible, but and you're gonna keep just plugging him out of position. It's just weird to me. I think balance kind of goes out the window, and you gotta play Pepe here. I think I don't necessarily agree with that, and I know people will come for me a little bit because I thought he sparked us against Burnley. Granted, he missed that easy sitter. I won't lie, that was pretty. I didn't even know what to say when it happened.
I think there's still a breeze rolling in from his foot swinging and missing that ball.
I think we were all celebrating before he even tried.
Yeah. I know I was.
Yeah.
Sorry,
but yeah, I'm never gonna want Xhaka to play on this team. Never, just because I just think he has a mistake in him. I don't care how physical he is. And so I'm sorry, Glenn. Again, cover your ears. I think this is a game for Elneny. Just breaking pressure, playing really defensively. Facilitating the ball
brilliantly.
Yeah, it's stupid to say, but yeah, I don't think we really. I do want to play Ceballos in the long run. I think he just offers us more, just in both parts, and I think he could help us out more with the party. But. He had a pretty treacherous game against Benfica in the second leg. So, you want to get these guys, you want to get their confidence back. But to me, someone like a Xhaka, he's not a guy where he makes a mistake and it's like, all right, we have to keep playing him. He needs to get his confidence back. No. He's always it's wired in his brain somehow. When he was born, it is what it is. And I think the quicker people accept that, I think the better off we'll be. But I don't know. I think it's an interesting lineup. And again, I don't want to critique lineups because at the end of the day, the game is played on the pitch, not on paper. So I do think that this team could win and do good things. And I really also, me and Sam also really pulling for Odegaard here. I think Odegaard needs to have a good game. He's kind of been lost in the sauce a little bit, but I think that hopefully with this lineup he could succeed.
Well, the way the lineup is right now, the team that we have right now, I wouldn't have minded Xhaka or El Neni. I think they offer more defensively if they hang back than putting Ceballos in there. Most of the time, I would like to see Ceballos next to Partey with the team that we have now. So I'm not constantly crapping on El Neni, Ryan, just to let you know. I do respect his defensive game.
Oh, okay. I like it. Yeah, I don't know. I also feel like just being a fan and I mean, you're right. I don't think Arteta needs to, cater to the fan base. I don't think he needs to worry about what we think, I guess. But this is just, I don't know. I think we're just set up for disaster in a way, in that we have so many guys that have either haven't been playing well or just are making mistakes left and right. So I just don't understand when things aren't going. Let's be real here. Things are not going well for us. We're not where we want to be, even though we are rebuilding. You have to wonder, like, what kind of again, what Sam said. Like, what is he thinking? I don't. Well,
the last time he said what he was thinking was just a couple of days ago, when he said that Arsenal's ready to pop. And I'm like, yeah, well, a car tire can pop too. So
yeah. He must just really not like Pepe. I think that's kind of what I'm getting from this lineup. He just really might not like him, but I don't know. He just gives us that chaos. He gives us that spark that could potentially save his job later down the road. So that's
what I was going to say about this lineup we've got in front of us here. Do you think there's enough firepower in it? Because obviously Aubameyang's only just really coming back into form. Saka's been fantastic all season. Odegaard doesn't score lots and lots of goals. Willian hasn't scored a goal yet. All right, he's had a few assists this season. Do you think we're going to be defensive and hit on the counter, or do you think we've got enough to score enough goals with this lineup? Because I'm reserved on that.
See, Angelo, I am of the mind that we are a counter-attacking team. That's when we're at our best. When we're attacking with pace and quickness, that's when we're dangerous. When get the ball upfield quickly. This playing out from the back, I know everybody does it, and I can understand it to a degree, but when we move the ball, even if we're going to play out from the back, and we move the ball up the pitch quickly, not this side, back, forward, side, back, forward, back, side. I mean, you know what I'm saying. This. Hey, you guys need to get in 75 passes before you take a shot on goal. That's not when we're dangerous. And the fact is, to Ryan's point with Pepe, you have to be intelligent on the ball to play the tactics that Mikel Arteta wants to play. And this is where he's losing me, because a good coach will recognize this team just ain't that smart. They're just not intelligent enough on the ball. Granit Xhaka, perfect example. I mean, the Burnley goal from last week is the shining example of that. We need to have less time on the ball, because the more time that we have on the ball, the more prone we are to do something stupid with it.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead, Glenn.
With their best defenseman out of the game, if we're not on the front foot, you are going to see me so friggin' wasted for the post-game shot. If we're playing back, I'm going to be livid.
And to be fair, too, one of their, in my opinion, I mean, I don't know if we're going to talk about their lineup, but one of their better players is not playing on the bench for Tunis. He's leading the team in assists. He has actually, I think he's second in the team in goals also. He's a really good playmaker for them, and he's on the bench. He's not even starting. So I do feel that with their lineup, they're telling Arsenal, hey, you can come at us. We're going to just play very compact, defensive. We're not going to try anything stupid. We're just going to let you shoot yourselves. I think that's just our recipe. That's the recipe to beat Arsenal. Let Arsenal shoot themselves in both feet. They're blind. They can't aim very well. They just,
Isn't that what I just...
Can I ask Angelo a question?
Yeah.
Because in how long have we been on? Half an hour? He went from cautiously
20 minutes.
20 minutes. You went from cautiously optimistic to guarded. What don't you like about the lineup?
He's a flip-flopper. It's a flip-flopper.
Well, no, it's interesting. I've got the team that we lost, the team lineup of Arsenal that lost to Olympiakos in the last 32 last season when we went out on away goals. There's only 2 players in that 11 that are no longer with Arsenal. The rest of the team are still here, and many of them are still playing. So I'll read it out to you quickly. We've got Leno in goal, Bellerin at right back, Mustafi, David Luiz, Saka was playing at left back at that point, one of his many positions. Yeah. Pepe, Xhaka, Ceballos, Ozil, obviously no longer with us, Aubameyang, Lacazette. So there's players in there that lost last season. I'm hoping they're going to use that pain as, I guess, a bit of motivation to think, look, we're better than these guys. We owe them one. Let's get the job done. Like I say, my concern, I'm cautiously optimistic. I still am. But my concern is it going to be a 1-0 win or a 2-1 win? It's not going to be convincing. It's going to be a get the job done. This is the chance to score our away goals. So, we need to take advantage of that. And as you said right at the top of the show, there's no hostile Greek atmosphere for us to have to deal with. The one shining light for me in this team is the fact that we've still got Kieran Tierney there. He's fit. He's not had the reactions coming back too soon, because we really are lost without him. And if Willian does end up playing on the left and Saka on the right, he'll need that support. He'll need that support from Tierney, and he's probably the best man for the job. So I still think it's going to be tight, but let's see what happens.
I don't like you, Sam. You're stealing my thunder. I was ready to come in after Angelo was done and talk about, this is a very defensive lineup. In my opinion, looking at this lineup, what I see is Arteta is like, we're in Greece. It's going to be tough. Let's just get a 1-0 and get out of there. We got Spurs on Sunday. We really need to do something with that. And I think I don't want to say he's prioritizing our game on Sunday, but I do think exactly. I do think he's got a keen eye on it. And it's like, no, this is the game. And I think, Glenn, you said this multiple times in multiple podcasts that we've done, especially on the tailgate. You have to play your best 11 every time. Just keep throwing your best 11 out there. And to me, this is, again, our most – I think that this is a more important game than our game on Sunday. And I know he used to play for the club, so maybe he has that in him where he sees it as a more important game just because it's such a big rivalry. But you have to prioritize this game. You have to put more out there than to just get a 1-0 win. Especially like you just said, we need to get the away goals. So we need to score more than 1. I would like to score 2 or 3, ideally. I don't see that with this lineup. I really don't. And I said this. Maybe I said this, but I was definitely thinking it while watching the Burnley game. Saka did not have a good game, and it's tough because I was calling for Saka to come out probably the 50th minute mark. I was like, he just looks tired. He doesn't look like he has anything to give. And then as soon as I said that, he gets a yellow, and then he just starts on all this unnecessary fouling. He's tired, but I think the thing with Arteta is, and it just shows how good of a player Saka is, he leaves him in because Saka, and I guess to more reinforce my point, the second leg against Benfica, Saka, he played well, but he didn't play like his normal self. He just had bits of brilliance, both assists. The assist to Aubameyang's header that he had to literally touch and it went in. He has that in him. He could be tired. He could be knackered. He could be ready to go. Coach, pull me out. I'm done. And then boom, one pass, and now I know I didn't take you out. And I think that's why Arteta persisted with him so much in the Burnley game because exactly he's a game changer. All you need to do is have him make one great play, and boom, it's a goal. So it's difficult because he does need rest, and we're gonna need to. I don't want to see him get hurt. I don't want him to see him come up short with a hamstring injury or anything like that. But it's so difficult when you have such a stud of a player. But then to further it, we have other options. I'm not saying we have to play Willian and Pepe. But we need to be smart about this, and we need to be able to manage our players. And again, like I always say, I think that's one of Arteta's biggest downfalls as a manager currently for us. His player management is just not where at least I want it to be, and he needs to drastically improve it if he wants to keep charge of this club.
I want to bring up this him prioritizing the scum thing over this game real quick. Is it? I agree that this game is more important, but there's a section of this fan base that would probably say, and they're very loud, would probably say, I would rather go out. I'm not saying this is how I feel because this is just stupid, but I think there's a big part of this fan base that says I'd rather lump the scum 4-0 and go out against Olympiakos in the Europa League than vice versa. And I think Arteta looks at this as, I think he's looking at Sunday as not this game as a make or break because we have another opportunity in a week. I mean, look, fact is we could lose this game 1 or 2-0 and we're not going to feel great going home, but we're going home. We have to, keep them off the sheet, obviously, but we get another crack at this. Whereas come Sunday, this is it. He hasn't beaten them yet. It's been bad. This is the one game in the league that every Arsenal fan is going to be jacked up for. And maybe he is in the back of his mind, like, I'm preparing for Sunday more than today because I'm going to get another crack at this, Glenn. I don't know what you think of that. Glenn, by the way,
we're not inside Arteta's head, but I disagree with what you're thinking he's thinking because otherwise he flat out lied about Europe being so important next season. As far as today, it's already been proven there's no home field advantage without the fans. Statistically, you can look it up. But at home, they have beaten Juventus, Atletico Madrid, Manchester United, Dortmund, and Liverpool. So, I would have liked a little bit of a stronger lineup today, but it's an okay lineup to me, and I don't think that he's looking past today.
That's actually a real impressive lineup that you just rattled off that this Olympiakos team is beating at home. That's I've always been of the mind like this, game like this, like, okay, well, let's face it, the Greek league isn't that strong. But boy, oh boy, this is a good Olympiakos team, and this is a very defensive team. And I hate to say it, I actually do agree with the assembled comment here. He might be looking for a draw. I'm going to take the scum. I'm going to take Sunday out of the equation. I think he might be playing just. I think he set this up just to survive in advance, so to speak.
I mean. I don't know about you guys. I'll just interrupt. You say to me, it's kind of this season's now become Europa League or bust, hasn't it? Because I think we've blown top 4. We're going to struggle for top 6, and we need to do everything we can to progress in Europa. I guess my other hat on though is tournament football is different to the league, and it is about survival and get through. It's not always about the prettiest football. It's about do we've got to do to get to the next round and worry about the next opponent. So if we come away with a draw, I think providing it's a score draw, it's not the end of the world. I wouldn't want to go back with a goalless draw because then we are exposed to away goals, and that's one of my big pet hates. My big pet peeves is away goals rule. I hate it, but
I hate it too.
I'm intrigued to see what happens, but as I say, being Italian and coming from watching Italian football, where it's all very much defense, and nick a win, but you get through and win a few World Cups. It might not be the worst strategy in the world if it ends up that we get through to the next round on the basis of having a solid defense and nicking a goal here and there. Let's not forget we've had arguably second, third best defensive record in the league this season. So.
Yeah.
And our defense hasn't been particularly settled, has it? It's chopped and changed, and we've said we've had Mari and we've had Bellerin and we've had Cedric and we've had Rob Holding, etc. So, maybe it's a case of if we can nick a win 1 or 2-0 or 2-1, it might not be the worst result in the world. I mean, look at last season. Didn't we go into the second leg up and we still end up losing? So.
Yeah. I'd be pretty happy with a 2-0 win today. I'll tell you, like I would love to see. I would love to see. I mean, 1-0. Let's face it, 1-0, and our buttholes are going to be puckered up next Thursday.
They'll be 2-0. They'll be puckered up. What do you mean?
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'd love to, 3-4-0, 1, something, whatever. I think if we could somehow figure out a way to score 3 or 4, this thing's done. I just don't see them.
We're just not that team anymore, though, are we?
We're not. Yeah, we're just not. And when you look at this lineup, it really is kind of a survive and advance. Don't lose the tie today.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, look, go out and win the tie today. Go out and just win this thing now.
Yeah, that's the thing that I don't understand.
And that's what I don't
get it. And we talk about the survive and advance, and I do believe it. I'm getting ready for March Madness myself for college basketball, but it just doesn't make sense. We are the better team. We are the better squad. We should win this. We're projected. I know the game's on paper. I know projections, Vegas bets, all that mumbo jumbo. But all of that information it's there for, I guess, a reason in a way. In the fact that we shouldn't be playing setting up to winning 1-0 and surviving and advancing. We're the better team. If it's one thing if we're Olympiakos and we're playing Arsenal, or we're Dynamo Zagreb and we're playing Scum, then yeah, fine. Play that kind of football. Play that 11 that you play, which I kind of, again, going back to the Olympiakos lineup, I think they're kind of playing like that and not playing one of their best players in Fortounis. So I don't know. I'm getting shades of, I hate to say this, I'm almost getting shades of Emery, where it's not like go out and get the win. It's go out and just try not to lose, which I don't want that, especially in the first leg of a Europa League game that, again, like Angelo said, it's Europa League or bust at this point. I don't care that we're playing the Scum on Sunday, and I think it's rough because, again, I go back to, Arteta used to play for this team. Arteta knows about the North London derby, and he might, in the back of his head, whether he wants to admit it or not, he wants to win against Scum, and might be subconsciously, anyways, prioritizing the game because it is a big deal. And like Tanner said, and I agree, most fans, it's a bigger deal than Europa. I don't get it. That's very short-sighted, but 2 weeks at home, I guess.
It's heart over head, is what that is, Ryan. It's heart over head.
I guess, but my heart is still my heart and my head are like, I want to beat Olympiakos. I still remember losing to Olympiakos, last season, and to me that hurts more than if we lose Sunday. I don't get. I don't get the logic.
Losing on Sunday won't be a surprise. That's the sad reality of it. Form goes out the window when it comes to a derby, but of course you want to smash them. They're Spurs, but at the same time, there's a sense of realism of, maybe we're in a bit of a different place than they are. And so if this is the more winnable game and allows us to progress and allows us to have a chance of getting back into Europe through winning it, and I know we're still a few rounds away from anywhere near that yet, but look, the positive spin I'm going to put on it for everybody is, and we love a bullshit start. Along with Bayer Leverkusen, Arsenal are the second or joint top scorers in the Europa League this season. And I know that doesn't really count for a lot when you've played the likes of Dundalk and teams that are hardly a challenge for us. I think our top goal scorers are Aubameyang and Nketiah and Pepe. We can score goals in this competition, but we're going to be coming up against a different class of opposition. And I think, was there a comment that you just put up there, which was Milan beating United, or the way around?
United just scored.
Yeah,
1-0.
That's a shame. But there you go, two teams that are the same as Arsenal, if you like, in that upper echelon of quality of opposition. So it's going to get tougher, but we need to do it.
Yeah. So let's kind of look at matchups here. Angela, I want to come right back to you. Do you see Olympiakos' lineup here? Do you have that in front of you, or do you want me to put it up on the screen?
No, I've not got it in front of me. No, if you've got it.
Yeah, put that up. Come on, Tanner. Show some respect here. Come on.
Shut up.
I don't want to pull up another tab and read off, Come on.
I got you. Ryan, you had said that they're going to they're going to try to attack a side. They're going to overload a side.
Yeah.
So obviously they're going to try. Let me get this bigger here real quick. That's what I said to my prom date. So when you look at that, we all think they're going to attack our right side. So that's probably going to be Saka and Bellerin. What are we looking at here with this Olympiakos lineup? Who do we need to worry about taking on Bellerin one-on-one?
I mean, to me, you just worry about them getting into advantageous positions down our side and tossing crosses. El Arabi is pretty good in the air, and that's someone who I'm very worried about because he's someone who scores a lot, as Angelo pointed out. He is someone that's going to be a problem for us, especially how, there's been bits of us not being well in the air, defensively anyways. Of course, I'm going to blank on this. Who scored the goal? Was it Leicester? Someone scored a goal against us where no one even jumped up for the header. It might have been Leicester. I'm definitely wrong there.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't Leicester. It was Sterling. The Man City game. It was Sterling.
Oh, yeah. And we've had, and it's funny. We're not.
Dude, it's like 5'6".
But no, yeah, but we're typically not a bad team on set pieces. But we have those moments where we just shut our brains off. And if we shut our brains off against Olympiakos, they're gonna punish us. Like El Arabi's no joke.
Yeah.
So,
I think the worry for me is Bruma there. He's got pace, and I think the worry we have there is that we've all said with Bellerin, he wasn't necessarily the best defender, but he always had pace to get him out of trouble. And it's quite clear he doesn't have that pace anymore since he had his big injury. So I could see Bruma causing him a lot of trouble. He's a tricky, speedy winger. And I don't think Valbuena's got the legs at 36 to be running up and down that wing. I suspect he'll go into a number 10 role there and feeding balls through. So it's going to be interesting. But that right side, it seems to be actually more often than not. Yeah, that's a good comment. More often than not, that right side is the side that's attacked.
Maybe this is just me thinking with my heart instead of my head, but we should win this game. And
you sound like me. Yeah, exactly.
We have. To me, we have Luiz and Gabriel in there to handle Arabi, and we should be on the front foot for this game. And I would hope for a 55-60 percent possession. Sorry, I can't speak.
It's the excitement.
I'm with Angelo. I'm cautiously optimistic. We should beat this team. It's going to come down to Arteta pulling all the right strings and having the right game plan. For me, I want Xhaka to hang back today. I want Tierney and Bellerin bombing down the wings. I want to be on the front foot.
Let me ask Angelo. I said before that Arteta's tactics are more it's possession, it's intelligence, it's passing. Mm-hmm. Is this lineup that he put out today? Is it set up to be a more counterattacking side?
I think you would still argue that obviously Saka's got a bit of pace, but he's not the quickest. Willian has still got a bit of pace, but probably not as quick as he was. So it's largely going to be long balls over the top or through to Aubameyang. That's the obvious speed merchant in our team. And I guess if we're going to compare him that he's up against Socrates, you'd fancy him in a race, wouldn't you? It's whether we can create those triangles to work around, whatever they put. Do they put 4 players sitting? Do they have 2 sitting back with Mvia? Aubameyang's and he's great at it, isn't he? He's great at playing off the last man. He's great at sitting on that shoulder. So it could be done. It wouldn't be my first choice 11 if I was playing a counter-attacking formation, put it that way, because I would go for pace. I would have someone like Pepe in there.
Yeah, for sure.
So your question's really funny, Tan, and I'm going to dissect it a little bit. So you said Arteta likes to play intelligent football, and Glenn says we like to have 60% possession, which is very true. We like to play intelligent football, we like to pass, we like to move around the field and kind of hold possession, and it kind of just, exert our
and then do nothing.
But to me that comes down to the players. But that's a whole nother argument. But that's what Arteta wants to do. Arteta wants to build from the back, play intelligence, pass, find the right moves, find the right holes, find the right channels, and exploit them. But you said, is this a counterattacking team? This is not a good. In my opinion, this is not a good counterattacking team. This is a team that exactly what you described what Arteta likes to do. basic, structured, hold on to the ball, pass it around, make moves, find channels for Aubameyang. Odegaard's good at that. Even Willian, to an extent, is good at that. Saka's good at exposing channels, whether he's going through the channels or he's passing through the channels. I do think this is a game. This is again, I don't know if best 11 is a difficult answer for me to give, but this is, I think, a really good lineup to kind of that we currently have on our team. And I'm not including Smith Rowe because I do think he's still hurt. I think they're going to probably give him some minutes at the end of the game, but I don't think they're going to. I know, Glenn, if he's healthy, why is he on? He should be playing. I get it, but I still think they're just going to throw him on for like 20 or so minutes at the end of the game. But I think that this is probably as good, maybe one or two choices. This is probably as good as you're going to get as far as intelligent, hold the ball, expose channels, which sucks because I kind of agree with you, Tanner. I think we're more of a counter-attacking team, which is why I think you need to play Pepe in there. And Pepe is the exact opposite of what Arteta wants us to do because Pepe just loves dribbling through people, losing the ball like 10 times, or he'll lose the ball 8 times out of 10, but those 2 times he'll make really good chances. And I think that's kind of what we need now. But, and it kind of goes back to what I was going to say earlier, just how, this rebuild and how we're trying to take shortcuts in this rebuild. We can't. We have to play the long game. We have to not play so short-sighted. And I think it's kind of coming up in this lineup, and it's coming up kind of with, Sunday against the Scum. I think this lineup is very short-sighted, and it's very like, yeah, I know we're rebuilding, and we need to win Europa because it's Europa or bust, but we have Scum on the weekend. So you're almost like having that excuse, which I don't like, and we've had that excuse since we left Highbury. When we should have started the rebuild then. It should have been a very long-sided process, but it wasn't. It was very like, oh, we'll add one player, we'll be fine. We'll add a goalie, we'll be fine. And we haven't done that, and we've just been very short-sighted and quick fixes. And look where we are now. We're 10th place in the Premier League, and we're hanging in the balance of a Europa League tie, and all of our hopes are pinned on Willian, David Luiz, and Xhaka. So make of that what you will.
I only slightly disagree with you, Ryan. I like a commenter said earlier. I'm sick of Willian starting. I don't understand how any player is to get in form on this team with Arteta's benching policy. Now would be the perfect time. Get Pepe in there. Let Willian come off the bench. It drives me mad sometimes, but I got to say, my first thing that I look for with the team sheet is Partey in there and not being rested for Spurs. And he's in there, so I'm relatively happy. And I'm on board with Angelo, cautiously optimistic.
Wait, so what did you disagree with me about? Because everything you said, I agreed with. I'm confused. I'm very confused.
You talked for so long, I remember thinking.
I was like, oh, what does he scream about? And like you said things, I'm like, no, I don't want Willian to start. I don't want, I was like,
I apologize. I guess we agree. I guess
to throw the cat amongst the pigeons, I was just going to say, I think the fan base are largely everyone's got a similar feeling, I guess, in terms of Willian. But of late, his numbers have been pretty good in terms of assists. As he maybe played his way into the team, and he's finding his confidence and he's finding his form because the stats don't lie in that respect. He's got something like 5 assists in his last 6 games, or whatever it is, something similar to that.
And something else I'll throw into the mix real quick. I'm not saying I agree with this, but I do know people think this way. Having a counterattacking team, does that? I'm sure I can because I'm sure I can if I think about it. But can we name big clubs and big teams and teams that win trophies and like do really well that are strictly counterattacking? I think that it's been a thing where fans and supporters go like, the counterattacking teams are just the teams that just want to nick 1-0s. They're not, they may surprise a few big teams, but they're usually a mid-table team. And to have that kind of, I can't think of the word, but to be classified as a counterattacking team, does maybe Arteta or does maybe people see it as like, oh, we're not a big club for counterattacking teams. We need to bring it onto them. We need to bring the ball, carry it, and impose our foot and impose our will on the other team, which again, I think that's what, at the end of the day, I think it's what Arteta wants to do. But again, we're rebuilding. We can't do that. Right now, we're just a counterattacking team. And I know, Glenn, you want to see us on the front foot. And I do. In this game, I think we should be on the front foot. I don't think we need to play counterattacking football to beat this team. But I think just football for now, at least for us, against the scum or against, bigger teams, I think we kind of need to not lose sight of what we're good at and what we could do to further ourselves in the long run.
Yeah, I just don't know how adventurous they're going to be with Semedo out today. Yeah, I agree, Ryan. I agree.
Something that Glenn said I want to come back to, Angelo, is the cut and chop and paste style that Arteta sets these lineups up. You would think that Pepe would have gotten a run after 2 or 3, a 2 or 3 game run of good form, and then he just drops them, and now he can't all of a sudden get back into the lineup at all. Is this the biggest problem that Arteta has in terms of just? I guess. Let me rephrase. Is this Arteta's worst trait, that he can't seem to just keep the best players playing? If you're in form, continue to play.
I think something that we say quite a lot on our podcast is a phrase that we use, which is you need the right tools for the right jobs. And, I think maybe when you approach a game and you have a long-term vision of, the game's not won in the first half, the game's not won in the first 60 minutes, you have to look past that, don't you? And think, right, what's the plan going to be? Who can make the impacts? And maybe that's what he's thinking with the likes of a Pepe. But, there's a thing in football, isn't there? If you're playing well and you're feeling confident, it all kind of just goes for you, doesn't it? The magic kind of just happens because you're in a good moment in your footballing game. And I guess that's why the likes of Willian was suffering so much, because it was crap game after crap game, poor performance after poor performance. And if you've ever played any sport, you try too hard to do something, it doesn't come off. And I think that probably was Pepe earlier in the season as well. But as you say, of late, it's kind of been working for him. So, why change it if it's not broken to some degree?
Yeah, go ahead, Glenn.
No, I was just going to say, I don't put the full comments on because I get too easily distracted. I'm like my dogs. But you did pop up a couple people that are livid with this lineup. And while I'm not happy with it, I'm not livid. I wonder what people were expecting here. Do you guys have any problem with this lineup, a major problem with this lineup?
I really wanted Runason in goal.
That's what I said.
We're at a point now where I think every show we do, we're gonna have to. Somebody is going to have to work in a Runason comment. I just think that's where we are at this point.
To be fair, though, I do think Runason still hurt. So
no, Glenn, that's a great question. Ryan, let me ask you that. Do you have a problem with the lineup? And if you have a big problem with the lineup, what would you change?
I think we kind of talked about that. Yeah, I think I have a big problem. Kind of going back to what we talked about on Tuesday and same with Arsenal. And I think you need to play Pepe here. You need to play Cedric. So I would bring Cedric in for Bellerin. Like Angelo said, our defense has been pretty good, and we've been kind of intermingling, interchanging a little here and there. So I'm not as upset about Luis playing as everybody else is. But yeah, if I had to choose, I would bring in Holding or Luis, or even Mari over Luis. I'd put them both over Luis. I'm not even going to comment on Xhaka. And then I think you have to play Pepe and Saka on each side. And I think that this is a Lacazette game. I know he hasn't had a shot on target in God knows how long, and everyone's like, oh, Aubameyang's our best player. I think that Lacazette needs to put in some work and do the dirty stuff, and you bring Aubameyang in at halftime or 50th minute, and then Aubameyang, I think, will really succeed and score some goals with all the Olympiakos tired legs out there. Because this has been mentioned, and I think I brought it up on the Same Old Arsenal podcast, but the only 2 healthy center backs that Olympiakos have are starting right now. They have no other center backs, so they're going to have to make some tough decisions. If we can get Socrates tired, which I would hope we can. He doesn't have much game time under his belt. But, I think we really need to run at their center backs, which is, again, not something we do very well. I know it's something that probably Arteta wants us to do long term, but it's not something we do right now well. So I think it's just a matter of just, like I said, I want to play Lacazette and work hard, get Olympiakos tired and bring in Aubameyang to get 2 or 3 goals.
Angelo, you want to piggyback off that?
I was just thinking, if we end up inviting pressure onto ourselves and their back line moves forward, closer to the halfway line, that's where Aubameyang's going to have the space to run in. Where we're going to struggle, I think, is if they park 2 banks of 4 and just lump it upfield to El Arabi. We need to stretch the game, and we probably will see a lot of side to side to create those gaps to go through. I guess we'll just wait and see what happens. But interesting.
Go ahead, Glenn.
Harry at Chronicles of a Gooner did a preview a day or 2 ago, and he had this Greek guy. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. It's one of those names with like 1 vowel and 5 consonants. and it was a terrific preview. He follows Olympiakos, and he says they are not as good as they were last year. And I would argue that we're slightly better than we were last year. And I expect to be on the front foot and to win this game.
I expect to be on the front foot and win against Burnley, too. Here we are.
True.
Ouch. Ouch.
So as I look at this, I would have started Cedric over Bellerin. I think that's probably the one change that I would have made here.
You make one, that's the one. I'll play Willian Xhaka all day. To me, just because of maybe I spoke too soon, maybe not Xhaka, but they love exposing the fullbacks, and like you were picking. He's gonna. I'm really gonna watch Bellerin in this game. I'm really gonna be curious to see how he handles it, or who knows? Maybe we do a really good job, and they don't expose the fullbacks today. I don't know, but. I'm nervous for Hector. I'm probably nervous for Hector more than he's nervous for the game.
It'll be interesting to see what tactic or instruction he's given, because Cedric's very much overlap and cross, and he's a good crosser of the ball. Mm-hmm. Bellerin tends to have that option, or he's told to cut inside and drive towards the penalty box. I don't know if you noticed that at all. He always tries to get involved.
He always gets into that inside channel.
Yeah, which is fine when it works. But when it doesn't, there's a massive hole at the back, and the defense don't move over to cover his gap. So, as you say, we've got Bruma, who's a tricky winger in that right position. He's probably as pacey as, if not faster than Bellerin. He'll get caught out, so he needs to be really careful there. What happened?
Oh boy!
So we're just about at an hour here, and I try to wrap it up right around the hour mark. So, Glenn. Just overall, 2-1. Anything that jumps out at you in the game, a goal scorer, or any?
No, nothing like that jumps out at me. I'm just while I would pencil Luiz in as one of the center backs, I'm a little worried about him, a little worried about Willian. But I think even if those guys aren't at their best, we should still win this game 2-1.
Yeah, Ryan.
It's tough. My gut said 1-0, but then I'm just like, I say that, and then every time I say that, I don't factor in the fact that we're going to make a mistake. We're going to shoot. We shoot ourselves in both feet every game. So you would say 1-1, right? I mean, I can't see this game being very high scoring, just based on who we have and who they have too. But I can't. It's weird. I think we're going to win. I don't see a 2-1, but I'm going. Yeah.
If Ruben Semedo was in the game, I would say 1-1, but I'm being optimistic.
Let's be real optimistic here. I'm going to say 3-2 to Arsenal. Let's go.
Wow. Yeah. Angelo.
Funnily enough, I said 2-1 before the pod as well, so I'm sticking with 2-1. I think Aubameyang is going to be hungry for revenge. He obviously missed that last second sitter in the.
Someone memories.
That'll be playing on his mind. He'll want to put that wrong right. So I can see him either getting a brace or certainly getting one. I think it'll be quite a physical game, so there may well be a a set piece that we do well from, whether that's a corner or a free kick. But yeah, I'm as I say, I think we can nick a win and bring it back to London.
2-1 would be with 2 away goals. That would be you'd have to be pretty happy with that, right? I mean,
yeah, absolutely. Plus, there's not going to be 6,000 crazy Greeks at the Emirates like last year.
For crying out! I mean, this is practically a home game for us at this point.
Remember how loud they were?
Yeah.
Hats off to them. But wow,
Yeah.
It's so funny. I'm all over the place with these predictions. Like I said 3-2, and I'm like, Ryan, you're an idiot. It's not gonna be 3-2. I also too, I don't want to agree. I hate agreeing with everybody. I don't want to be like, oh, it's gonna be 2-1, because like I do think it'll probably end up being 2-1. And Coach Soccer in the chat, yeah, I feel like I'm drunk because I don't think it's gonna be 3-2. I don't know. I think this game's all over the place because I think it'll be low scoring, but I think they'll score. I think we'll score. So it's like I guess I chalk up to a 1-1, but I'm like, no, that's not fun. I think we're gonna win, but I'm very scatterbrained as we all know. So I don't know.
Go on.
I just want to win. That's it. I don't care about the score. I just want to win.
2-1.
Yeah.
Not to Arsenal.
What?
Oh,
Glenn. Get him out of here, boo!
I just don't think that this team has the mentality to pull out a win. The inconsistencies that I've seen with us over the past month and a half, it's something just doesn't feel right about this to me. It just does. And look, I know it's an Arsenal show, and I want to predict the win for us. I'm going with what's in my head, and I just don't see it. I just don't see it. I think it's going to be a fluky goal that gives them the lead, and you're going to see our heads hang just like they did Saturday at Burnley after Burnley scored.
I say we're going to shoot ourselves in the foot and give them the goal like we always do. Yeah, sounds like us.
Yeah. Go ahead, Angela. What were you going to say?
It very much depends on which Arsenal turn up, doesn't it? And that's such an obvious thing to say. But you look back to the Arsenal that were playing Wolves, and we absolutely dominated them in that first half. And then obviously David Luiz got sent off, and it killed our mentality. There's the Chelsea result from earlier in the season. We'd have taken hope from the victory over Leicester. But there's the other side of that, isn't there? If we turn up, we're too negative. We don't think we can beat them. And you're right, they are inconsistent. In our last 5 games, we've won 2, draw 2, lost 1, I think. Or we lost 2 and draw 1. So, like you said, we just need to be really positive from the off and dictate the game.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like we absolutely, on paper, should win this game. I think we're the better side. We should.
Yeah, and it sucks because he's had such a bad track record of this. I think this game's going to come down to Arteta subs. He needs to make the right subs.
And I'm sorry I booed you, BG, because I want you to be.
I'm not sorry.
Don't be sorry at all. We're sorry for it.
I know you want to be wrong with your prediction.
Oh,
but I'd rather have you tell the truth, and I'm sorry I booed you.
You know what? Maybe I shouldn't admit this, but it's a little bit of like reverse psychology, where I feel like maybe if I predict against us, and maybe I go on Twitter and I start talking some shit, in like the first 10 minutes of the game, like, oh my God, we're horrible. Meanwhile, we have 100% possession, and we're just having a kickabout right at the edge of their penalty area. But I'm like, oh, this sucks, and we're terrible. Look, we can't do anything. Maybe we'll actually win this thing 3-0 or 4-1 or something like that. Boy, how good would it feel to take a 3-goal advantage home?
After that Burnley game, we deserve like a 3 or 4-1. I mean, it's just that really hurt. I don't remember a draw hurting so much as that one did.
It's still Ryan and I when we recorded the Gooner view last night, and I said to him, it's still that Burnley match still feels like a loss. It still feels like a loss. Yeah. It's a draw. We get a point, but it just feels like a loss. I just want to bring in BX Gunner real quick here. I saw someone sacrificing a chicken will win. The first thing that popped into my head, Angela, I don't know if you'll get the reference. I'm quite certain that Glenn and Ryan will. Have you ever seen the movie Major League? It's an American baseball movie.
The only time I'll watch baseball is that movie. That movie
is that movie? Yeah. Should have got a live chicken. Listen, I come.
Hey, we could kill a chicken at the weekend from North London, can't we?
Well, so I'll tell you real quick. There's a scene in the movie where there's a baseball player. He's from another country and he wants to sacrifice a live chicken because he can't hit a curveball. So instead of a live chicken, they go out and they get him a bucket of KFC.
Yeah. I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy. There's a McDonald's a mile away from me, and before the game, now you gotta go. Now you gotta go.
To be fair, their new crispy chicken sandwich is very good. It's very good.
Angelo, do yourself a favor. Watch Major League if you get a chance. It's a tremendous movie.
I like this on my list.
Yeah, it's old. It's like what, 88? No, it might even be older than that. But it's an older baseball movie if you understand American baseball. But it's
Charlie Sheen in his prime.
Charlie Sheen in his prime. That's yeah. So
that's old.
Good movie. You'll get a good laugh out of it. Now we're just gonna start talking about baseball movies. So, Coach 8 Soccer, Bull Durham, absolutely. That's a tremendous movie. But all right, guys, that's it. We're gonna get out of here. Thanks to the panel, Glenn, Ryan, Angelo. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for the invite.
Shout out everything that you've got again for the viewers so that they know where to find you, and go drop a subscription for them.
Yeah, thank you. So myself and my co-host Diddley every week. Diddley? Yeah, so we're on a podcast, Blast from the Arsenal podcast. We're on Twitter and Instagram at Blast Arsenal Pod, and we've just started doing our own live stream, so maybe we'll get some of you guys on to do that at some point. So yeah, make sure you check us out on YouTube as well.
Excellent. Yeah, that's it. Play the outro, go have some lunch, and or I guess dinner, Angelo, in your case, and we'll be back for the aftermath right around 10 minutes after full time, and
it's not a lot of aftermath.
Hopefully we're aftermath is just the result.
I think of buildings falling.
No, I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking.
Scared. I'm scared.
So that's what we got coming up for you about, like I said, 10 minutes after full time. So be back here, same Bearded Gooner time, same Bearded Gooner station. Thanks for watching, everybody. Come on.